As we inch towards the end of the year, so many people have plans. Myself, this evening, I'll be going to the cinema to catch a movie. But little did we know that there's tourism that can be best on film. And so film-induced tourism is one of the fastest growing sectors in the tourism sector right now. And it's emerging as a prominent form of tourism, right all from the way from the 90s, the 2000s. And today, most recently this week actually, there was a film running in the cinema, a local production, and it was called Sekukulu, and Ugandans went ahead to watch that. But before its emergency, as a unique driver of the tourism industry, there were brief mentions of the phenomenon of film tourism by academia, as well as the anecdotal mentions. Now, at the beginning and the second half of the 20th century, the influence of cinema as a motivating factor when choosing to visit a destination was spontaneous as well as unplanned. Since the last decade of the 20th century, however, this influence has been recognized. Nowadays, the influence is audiovisual productions in the image of a destination, and it gets to be undisputed. In 1996, the British Tourism Association became the first tourism agency to capitalize on film tourism by publishing a map of Great Britain with movie locations marked on it. Now, that's very interesting. Now, currently, Uganda and France are partnering in the same manner on a new documentary aimed at purposefully promoting tourism and also promoting gender equity. Now, to traverse the different spheres of this particular partnership, we are joined by two gentlemen and a lady that are the front runners of this particular project. I will start with our Bazungu friends. Their country of origin is France, right? Yes. Yeah, so I'm going to ask them to greet us in French. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Yeah. Comment ça va?
Très bon accent.
Merci. All right, your introductions.
Yes, yes, I am Christopher. I come from France, and I met Mercy in school, French school, Kavilam in Vichy, and I met my friend Pierre. We work for create comedy documentary to create links between our culture.
Okay, all right, Pierre, I'm going to start with you. When it comes to your country, let's talk about film-induced tourism. How is it being consumed that side?
Je vais traduire une partie.
Yes, elle demande si comment on fait le tourisme en France.
So, the tourism, c'est compliqué ça pour moi. Tu pourras traduire? Donc le tourisme en France se développe énormément. En France, on a la possibilité de voyager à l'international, de pouvoir rencontrer plein d'autres pays. Et dans ce cadre-là, très clairement, l'Ouganda a une carte à jouer du fait qu'il y a plein d'attraits touristiques qui permettraient de s'ouvrir en France. C'est pour ça qu'on a décidé de créer ce documentaire qui permettrait de faire une vraie carte touristique à l'Ouganda.
Okay, so basically he said that in France tourism is very international, and most French people move a lot around to visit different places, and they use a lot of documentaries to see that and try to decide where to go by looking at documentaries and what is being said about other places.
Okay, Christopher, tell us about the role of documentary or documentation in order to facilitate tourism. What are the impacts that you have realized?
Yes. For me, Uganda is the upper of Africa. We visited Egypt, Morocco, some country, and during 5 days we met some people, some culture, some happiness, fraternity. It's very important to show for French people because they have choice with all the world. And Uganda makes a difference with gorillas, animals, nature, youngest people with skateboarding, food.
Oh yeah, oh, very good. It's better than your food, but
French people love food.
Yes.
We love food.
Love food, yes.
So during 5 days we discover the link between nature and people, and French people like they need to live an experience. And if she went in Uganda, they live like Pierre and me, an experience unique.
Okay, so Mercy, you three met somewhere and you collectively birthed an idea. Tell us more about this idea of doing a documentary.
Okay, thank you for your question. So what happens, I work with the French Embassy. So I have one leg in France, one leg in Uganda. More is on the move. And I discovered that in France, no one knows Uganda. Everywhere I go, they're like...
Even with the French Embassy here?
Yeah, so the embassy does a lot of work in terms of promoting the country, but in general, if you compare with other countries, our neighbors and other African countries, so it was very painful for me as a Ugandan that no one knows where I come from. And every time I'm there, they're like, okay, so are you a district in Nigeria? Are you, you know, and I was like, no, I need to do something as a Ugandan to promote this country in France. So when I met Christopher and I found out that he's a filmmaker, I was like, okay, perhaps we should do something to promote Uganda. And thankfully, he said yes, so yeah.
Okay, so how is this working and what are the areas you're focusing on?
So we are focusing on sports, nature, and sports, nature, and women emancipation. And for sports, we are focusing on skateboarding and basketball. For nature, we're focusing on gorillas in where I come from, Gahinga area, and the environment as well. It's part of nature. And then for women emancipation, I think that's self-explanatory.
Okay. Speaking of governments, Pierre, what's the contribution of the two governments towards this particular project in filmmaking?
Donc sur la partie française, on a essayé de trouver des partenaires qui ont pu intervenir dans le financement de ce projet. Ça n'a pas été simple étant donné que certains partenaires se sont potentiellement désistés. On cherche encore des partenaires qui sont susceptibles de financer une partie de film. En France, il y a certaines alliances qui ont participé indirectement à la création et à la mise en contact avec certaines personnes dans le cadre de ce film. Et au niveau de l'Ouganda, c'est peut-être toi qui seras la mieux placée pour en parler. Je te laisserai parler de cette partie-là.
Yeah, so he said in France we have a lot of partners who are more private and a few institutions which are participating as partners, but we don't yet have government support per se, and we are open to partnerships and people who would be interested in partnering with us. That's for the French side. And for the Ugandan side, this is a private project. So we are hoping to have government support with maybe government parastatals, but as of now, we are privately.
Okay, all right. Then on the areas that you have covered so far, which ones have been of good significance to you, and how are you going to be using them, for example, for women emancipation?
Ouais. Oui, elle voulait savoir ce qui vous a remarqué le plus.
Sur le...
Oui, sur le projet, ce qu'on est en train de faire.
Okay.
For me, it's Jackson. Jackson, it's a young skateboarder, and he creates a skate park to welcome so many kids. And Jackson have enough energy.
Yeah.
And when I met Jackson, I was bouleversé.
Moved.
It's very important to see young girl with skateboard. It's for me the first step for emancipation. To meet friends, to skate with professor.
Yeah.
Because in Uganda, I think in 10 years, the best skateboard of the world, they come from Uganda.
It's going to come from Uganda?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
I am
that's
sure.
nice. Yeah.
I am sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's very promising. So, Christophe, in terms of the project, have you closed the project? Is it done and dusted? Are you giving us a viewership anytime soon?
The problem of Uganda, we stay 5 days and we create a documentary. I think the during of the documentary is 40 minutes. And when we talk about the project, it was 20 minutes. So we need to come back to France to write some line of the project, because in January we stay just 9 days for make the film.
Okay.
We need to be focused, and with Mercy we organize this movie.
All right. So, Mercy, do we have a release date yet? When can Ugandans see this magnificent work?
So we don't have a release date yet, but it's going to be next year. So now what's happening right now is we're beginning the filming in January of the Ugandan scenes. So we've done a bit of filming in France for some French scenes, and in January we film here in Uganda. So we're going to film in the Mugahinga and a few other regions, and the skate park, of course. And then perhaps around September, hopefully, or because in the August we have the Olympics, and before that France is very occupied with the Olympics. So everything is facing exactly. Okay. So hopefully immediately after the Olympics. Yeah.
Okay. And at the end of the day, come September, how do you hope that this will actually improve on our tourism influx, especially from countries like France, in terms of revenue and destination branding?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, as I was beginning, in France, Uganda is not very known. So what we're trying to do is create, I'd call it a visual. Because if I come and tell you we have lions at home, we have gorillas, those are just words. But if I show you that these are the lions, you get to live the experience. So once people get to see this and get to live the experience and get to come along with us through the film, by all means, because just now, the few days they've been here, they've been sending back photos and they've been getting a lot of feedback. Everyone is saying, we want to come to Uganda. And so before we even start filming, we have people who are making bookings and coming by just them being here and sending back photos. So by the time the film comes out and it's in the cinemas and it's being seen everywhere, it's going to be a big influx.
So that is France to Uganda. Let's look at it from Uganda to France. What do you hope will be the impact of this documentary?
So personally, I'm hoping this is like a door which is open to have more cooperation between France and Uganda, because when the people come here, the French people come here, it's a connection. You make a connection with them and eventually trade with them. And you can, organize, for example, for the, what do they call it, sortie. In English, in French it's sortie. In English it's the day the film comes out. I forget the English term.
The premiering.
Exactly, thank you. So on the premiering, which is going to be in France, we're hoping to have a big number of Ugandans who are going to come, probably in traditional wear, and it's not just going to be a premiering, but also a tourism opportunity for people to book trips and maybe sell things.
Okay, all right. So getting closing remarks, I'll start with Pierre. In regards to using your, which camera is that?
It's a Fujifilm X100F, and my job in this adventure is to stop the time. You know, a film all go very fast, and me, I take a picture and give memories for the people who are participate to the film and the movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's very, very beautiful. And so far, what impact has Uganda had on you as a person?
Tu peux introduire?
L'impact
de l'Ouganda? When Christopher told me we are going to Uganda.
Did you say we're going to Africa, Christopher?
Africa? No, Africa. So I know the north of Africa, so Egypt, Morocco. And so the first reaction, go to internet, Uganda, and I see
and
I see the wonderful landscape, animals, food, waterfalls, and I think it's a wonderful dream for me to go to this country. It's a real opportunity.
Yeah. What food have you liked?
You know, Rolex. It's terrible.
It's
in the morning, it's
terrific.
A Rolex, all right, with eggs and tomatoes. Okay, all right. Christopher, what has been your experience of Uganda? Is this your first time?
Yes, in Uganda, yes.
Okay.
For me, it's to live with the family of Mercy, to discover the culture, food, yes, but the kid of Mercy, it's an inspiration, energy, never stop, don't sleep, and we need to be like this for make a film.
Yeah. Also, you need the child around to just keep you going in the project.
And I met the grandfather of Mercy, old man. It's a memory of Uganda. It's a pleasure.
Okay. And what food have you enjoyed about Uganda?
Whole chicken, all the comment les plats.
All the food.
all the food. Yes.
Okay, all right. And when it comes to impact, what are you carrying back, just as you, back to the people in your country to tell them about Uganda?
I think I want to open the eyes of the world for French people, because they use Instagram to choose our travel.
Yeah.
But I think if we propose an adventure, they will discover so many things, and they say, I need to go in Uganda. And with Pierre, we come back in Uganda after the film.
Okay.
To be a simple tourist, to visit the north of the Uganda, because we visited the south, and it's a great country.
Okay. All right. Well, Mercy, first of all, thank you so much for being a great ambassador of Uganda to France. Now you have converted to Frenchmen to become Ugandans. I hope you give them local names. Did you?
Well, we talked about it, not yet.
Yeah, but we need to give them local names before we leave this show.
We need, we need to.
So as you think about those local names, in regards to this, at the end of the day, in your capacity, because it started out as something that you had a pain, Uganda not being known to them, and so they're carrying the message there. At the end of the day, in the long term, what do we hope this is going to actually achieve?
So apart from the tourism, we hope there is a business line which is opened, excuse me, so for investment, for partnerships, not just for tourism, because when the people come, you have connections, and a lot can come out of connections. So I'm hoping we have a lot of investment coming through, because as Uganda we need a lot of investment, foreign investment, and also the tourist line, we need to open it as much as possible, because France is one of the most, French people among the people who travel a lot, who go and visit other countries, and it's a pity that they don't come here. So one of my hopes is that we have that door open and we have a constant flow of traffic from there to come and visit and eventually talk about us.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the baptism of Pierre and Christopher, which name suggestions do you have?
On va choisir les noms pour vous. Oh no, it's very hard. I need to think. You can give us a suggestion.
Okay.
They love food, maybe something along food lines.
Rolex.
Pierre the Rolex, and then Christopher, no.
The chicken.
No. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having a conversation with you, gentlemen, thank you so much for bringing France to Uganda. And again, also in advance, thank you so much for taking Uganda back to France as you return. And we hope to see the premiering of this documentary, bringing the two nations together, collective efforts to ensure that we are one globe at the end of the day. Marks the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for being with us. One more conversation coming your way regarding Census 2024. This one is unique in such a way that they are going digital. How is that going to be working? Well, we do have the Executive Director of UBOS who's going to be giving us the details. Do stay with us.